Alright, hello everyone and welcome to the WWE discussion. I'm your host and WWE Tuesdays Dougie Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing Monday Night Raw, January 15, 2024 edition. An edition of Monday Night Raw that continued to build up stories for the Royal Rumble match itself, more specifically the Men's Royal Rumble. And while I like all the attention and stories that are being built for it, it seems like the Women's Royal Rumble isn't really getting talked about as much. So it would be nice to see that one get a little bit more attention paid to it, but I digress. Small complaint. Otherwise, overall, pretty good episode of Raw that featured a world title match with Seth Rollins defending against Mahal. And with that, we're going to get right into the action, starting with the Men's Royal Rumble match, which has the potential to be an all-time great Royal Rumble match. So WWE has set the stage on Raw for the key players in the men's Rumble match. CM Punk has made winning his one true goal. Cody Rhodes has promised a repeat and win to finish the story. Next week, those two guys will meet face to face in the Go Home episode of Raw, likely announcing those two as the big favorites to win, or the biggest favorites to win that match. Now, Drew McIntyre can't be counted out either. He's had the most build in recent weeks, calling out both Punk and Rhodes as obstacles to his ascension. Gunther made his return in this episode and announced his entrance into the Royal Rumble, and Gunther is going to be an unstoppable force in that match and attempting to complete the journey that he started last year as a Final 2 competitor. Jey Uso will also be entering the Rumble, looking to win and get another opportunity to win some singles gold. Everyone on Raw is building up the men's match as an all-time great with stories that will define the entire hour-long contest. The build and talent involved set the stage for the best Rumble WWE has ever produced. It will have a tough road. Now, it might be tough without match like, it will be tough without match last year's contest, but everyone is certain to deliver. So even if it doesn't end up being better than last year's, it's still going to be a good Royal Rumble match. Imperium and the New Day, and this feud has been a smashing success for Raw. And to think this was a feud that started on a whim, it looked like it was just done to get two teams on television. However, with pressure from the now returning Gunther and an unfortunate injury to Giovanni Vinci, this battle has become personal. Ludwig Kaiser has become more dangerous, and Xavier Woods has matched that intensity. Kofi Kingston was already delivering great matches, and once he's returned, he's going to up the physicality as well. If there's any chance for Big E to return to action soon, this feud would be a good way to reintroduce him. New Day, all three members versus Imperium, but if he can't, that's okay. Jey Uso's right there, and it looks like more likely it's going to be Jey Uso based on the backstage segment where Uso came to Woods' defense after him and Kaiser got into it backstage. That Gunther versus Uso could be an option for WrestleMania 40 for the Intercontinental title, which is an exciting possibility that can build up the great work of New Day and Imperium. Becky Lynch remains the only WrestleMania option for Rhea Ripley. So Becky Lynch had her first match in 2024 against Nia Jax, and unfortunately she lost, but she's going to look to rebound in her second match of the year, and that one's the Royal Rumble. Now, it's likely that she will fall short, but she should still be the woman to challenge her at WrestleMania, and truth be told, she's the best option at the moment. Over the past year, Ripley has had a few great title defenses. That's the thing about her reign. It's been a long reign, it's been a successful reign, but not every title defense has been great. Some of them have just been good, some of them have just been okay. And when you think about the women on SmackDown like Charlotte Flair, Asuka, Bayley, Io Sky, and Bianca Belair, all that competition on SmackDown, and then compared to the competition on Raw, and Ripley kind of at the moment outmatches her competition. And Lynch is one of the best women's wrestlers in WWE, and the only one who can contest her work is Ripley. Lynch herself said that Ripley might be better than her, so that's certainly something there. Together, they could have the best women's match in Mania history. I don't know if I'm going to hold it to that. I don't think I'll hold it to that standard, but I think certainly, given the talent involved, it could reach that standard. And Ripley needs this match in order to further cement herself as the top star in the women's division. Even if Lynch is unlikely to dethrone her, she will get closer than anyone else has. Jinder Mahal. So even in a losing effort, he shows why WWE should use him more. And Jinder Mahal is a reliable veteran who has always delivered on what WWE asked of him, except for that time that he was WWE champion. And it was nice to see him get that superstar treatment for a while as champion, but in all reality, he's not the kind of performer in the ring that can sustain a main event run. Now, that is not to say that he's not completely useless. He can deliver with the right opponent, as he did against Seth Rollins on Monday. Of course, the Visionary has had better title defenses recently, but there was quite a bit of buzz about this one, perhaps more than expected, but certainly there's some interest there, and people certainly did think, or certainly considering the possibility of Mahal becoming world champion more than perhaps expected. And one other thing about Jinder too is that he's always been a strong promo. He's the kind of star who can elevate himself, even working off superstar legends like The Rock or even the World Heavyweight Champion Rollins. The biggest conversation around Mahal has been his challenge for the world title after doing nothing for the past year. That should change his value as a mid-card star and as a manager for any share, a trio that is important to the future of Raw's undercard. In conclusion, this was another strong episode of Raw that focused the majority of Matana's angles and segments on building towards a Royal Rumble. The men's match will feature about 6 to 8 guys, probably with legitimate arguments to win it, and more importantly, actual stories that will intertwine in the match that could result in some creative excellence come January 27th. Rose, McIntyre, Punk, Uso, and Gunther all have stories that they want to finish, making any one of them a viable option to win the match, and all but Uso have had considerable mic time to set up side feuds within the larger match itself. Outside of that, the latest in the Truth Judgment Day saga continues to plant the seeds that perhaps Truth could be the one that breaks up the faction. There was an emphasis on the women's tag team division, even if the matches didn't get a whole lot of time. A formal introduction of the Becky, Lynch, Rhea, Ripley feud, and the continuation of the harmless fun that is Alpha Academy versus Ivar Valhalla. What was once a 3-hour slog now has clear direction, with Triple H and his creative team giving most of the roster something to do. It is refreshing and makes the still overlong broadcast much easier to watch. This was a good one, especially with Rollins versus Mahal, really showing off his creative regimens, creative regimes, growth from a booking perspective. And with that, that will conclude this episode of WWE Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below.